You want to do it? I will.
I'd like to call the meeting of the Brooklyn City Council to order. Mary Jo, will you call the roll, please?
Aaron Borowski.
Here.
Kevin Tansky. Here. Sue Grodick. Here. Kathy Pucci.
Here.
Stephen Coyle.
Here.
Andy Selhertz.
Here.
Matt Mosley.
Here.
Will everyone please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance. I'm going to turn it over to the mayor for the promotionals and swearing in of our new firefighter.
Thank you, Council President. Man, it's good to see a crowd. If anyone's going to have a medical emergency, now is the time to do it, since all of our paramedics and firefighters are here. So, Andrew, if you want to come on up, we'll start with you. So we have the privilege of swearing in a new firefighter this evening, and then a promotional to lieutenant, and then to captain. So then we'll start with the new firefighter. All right, if you could please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Andrew Rakatan,
I, Andrew Rakatan,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Brooklyn,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Brooklyn,
that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as a firefighter paramedic in the City of Brooklyn, Ohio,
as a firefighter paramedic in the City of Brooklyn, Ohio,
according to the best of my ability and understanding. According to the best of my ability and understanding.
according to the best of my ability and understanding.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And when you get a picture, come on, Chief. Let's stand here. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you got it. Is someone going to pin that on you?
You want to put it on?
Sure. I've never done it before.
I don't know.
Oh, man, that's a...
That's a thick.
Well, if I jab you, we got the right people here to help fix you up. I can't even get it open.
Let's see. What do we got going? What do we got? What do we got going on here? Oh, there it is.
All right, I'll put it right through that little hole right there. How's
Go
that?
for it. That's fine with me.
There we go. I did it. All right, didn't even jab us. All right. Glad to have you. All right, Brian. There he is. All right, sir. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right. Brian, if you could please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Brian Cease,
I, Brian Cease,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Brooklyn,
and the charters and ordinances of the City of Brooklyn,
and that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as a fire lieutenant in the City of Brooklyn, Ohio,
as a fire lieutenant in the City of Brooklyn, Ohio,
according to the best of my ability and understanding.
according to the best of my ability and understanding.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Can we get a picture real quick? All right. Very good. All right, Dennis. Dennis, if you could please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Dennis Williams,
I, Dennis Williams,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Brooklyn,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Brooklyn.
that I will faithfully, honestly, and
I
impartially
will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as a fire captain in the City of Brooklyn, Ohio,
as a fire captain in the City of Brooklyn, Ohio,
according to the best of my ability and understanding.
according to the best of my ability and understanding.
Congratulations, Captain.
Thank you. Shortest captain in Brooklyn. Can you guys get down on one knee?
Oh, yeah, sure. All right. Congratulations, everybody. Thank you so much. Now, you're all welcome to stay, but if you want to leave, please, now's a good time to get out. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Everybody loves the firemen. Hey, Steve. Yeah. We give the opportunity. So like Rawls, Mike. Yeah, Mike's my dad. Yep. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, Vince. Okay. Yeah. Hey, nice to meet you. And Chief also. Thank you. Yeah. It's fine. They got to sign off. Yeah. Sounds good.
So in 2000, I think it was 2000, I think they realized.
Oh yeah, you gotta go to big dinner and stuff.
Or to work the games.
Oh yeah, some of them already out.
Okay, we have minutes to approve from our meeting of March 10th, 2025. Any corrections, additions? Okay, we need a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Second.
To approve the minutes, Aaron Borowski,
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Sue Grodick.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Stephen Coyle.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Matt Mosley.
Yes.
At this time, we will have the first public session. If anyone in the audience has anything to say pertaining to a legislative item on our agenda, please step forward, state your name and address, and you will be recognized. Please remember to keep your comments to 5 minutes or less.
Good evening. Our address is 10840 Brook Park Road. We bought
And
our...
I'm sorry, your name, please?
Oh, I'm sorry, Misty Winkler?
And Pete Winkler.
Winkler?
Yes.
Okay, and is this pertaining to legislation on our agenda this evening, or
We
something else?
we didn't get the letter, but from what we understand, it has to do with the Brook Park.
Okay,
Is that on,
so that's not on our legislative agenda this evening. We do have a second public session that'll
Okay.
come after we address our legislation.
okay.
Okay.
And how will we get notified on that?
Well, you'll be able to speak at the
Oh,
second.
second
Yes.
part. Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, anyone have anything pertaining to a legislative item on our agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. We'll move on to reports of committees, commissions, and boards. This evening, we did not have a Finance Committee meeting. The Finance Committee meets prior to the council meeting on the fourth Monday of the month at 6 p.m. We did have a committee of the whole, and we addressed the following legislation. We have Resolution 2025-8, which is on first reading this evening, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement for the sale and purchase of vacant city Brooklyn property on Brookway Lane, permanent parcel number 431-21-035, for good and valuable consideration. We had a presentation by two of the gentlemen who will be part of the organization purchasing the property, which is AYC Investments LLC, Yaz, and Mr. Hirsch. And this is some property that is currently vacant. There's been nothing on this piece of property on Brookway Lane. It's like a cut-through to get to where you would go down behind the fire station down to the trails, better known as, at least currently, the Kingdom. We did get an appraisal for this property. It appraised for $12,000, and that is what we will be selling it for. And they will be building a single-family home on this piece of property. The other piece of legislation that the committee recommended that council adopt by emergency measure this evening is Resolution 2025-9, a resolution in support of State Issue 2, the renewal of the State Capital Improvement Program on the May 6, 2025 statewide ballot. And that completes the report of the Committee of the Whole. Next, we'll have the Recreation Board, Councilman Tansky.
Thank you. Brooklyn Memorial Day Parade and Ceremony on Monday, May 26, will kick off at 11 a.m. at the Brooklyn Recreation Center, ending at the Brooklyn High School Stadium. A special ceremony will begin at noon, where families will be invited to state their loved one's name. To participate in the parade, please contact Rachel at rlaskowsky@brooklynohio.gov or call 216-625-4283. Brooklyn Ice Show, Skating Through the Seasons, May 2nd and May 3rd at 7 p.m. Tickets are $10 each and can be purchased at www.brooklynrec.com. Brooklyn Barracuda Swim Team, May 5th through July 26th. Registration is now open at the Rec Center. Resident, $110, non-resident, $130. Partnership, $120. Senior activities for May include May 5th, Pizza and Movie, 1 p.m. May 7th, Mind Challenge event, 1 p.m. May 8th, luncheon at noon, cost $8, registration is open. May 9th, Mother's Day tea and luncheon at noon, registration is open. May 14th, Mind Challenge at 1 p.m. May 19th, Mystery Lunch, meet at the Senior Center at 11:30 a.m. Space is limited, registration begins May 1st. Cost $3 for bus, pay for your own meal. The next Recreation Board meeting will be held on April 21st in the Rec Center Meeting Room, 7 p.m. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next is Board of Zoning Appeals and Planning Commission, Councilwoman Grodick.
Thank you. The Board of Zoning Appeals will meet on Thursday, April 17th at 6 p.m. to consider one item on their agenda, and it is a request from 4592 Sunset Oval to build a detached second garage. The next Planning Commission meeting is May 7th, also at 6 p.m. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. School Board Liaison, Councilman Mosley.
Thank you, and good evening. Since our last council meeting, there has been one school board meeting, and that was a workshop last Monday. There was a presentation about the upcoming construction, and the board also passed our legislation for consent agenda. If you recall, a few meetings ago, I had mentioned that the board was considering this. It will allow all of the items on the agenda to be read and voted on one time rather than one by one. Any member of the board has the ability to pull an item so that it can be talked about and discussed further. The school board's next meeting is tomorrow, April 15th, in room 173 at 6:15. Also, a very important information meeting is going to be held next Tuesday, April 22nd at 6:15. There will be all the members of the school board there in room 173. This is to have a question and answer session for any questions regarding the upcoming levy on the ballot next month. I want to remind everyone that voting yes or no will not affect your tax bill as a resident because of that 20 mil floor that we have talked about a few times. Hopefully there's a good turnout, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. We'll now have the reports of council, and this evening we begin with Councilman Borowski.
Thank you, Council President. On behalf of City Council, we as a collective body want to say congratulations on the promotions of Fire Lieutenant Williams to Captain, Firefighter Cease to Lieutenant, and also a big congratulations to Mr. Rakatan for being sworn in as a firefighter paramedic. I'm wishing all of you a long continued career with Brooklyn. Good evening, Brooklyn. This past Saturday at the Senior Center, the city hosted its annual Easter event. holding it at our renovated senior center, which if you haven't been there lately, please stop on by to check it out. The updates have been done for a while now. I know that they're working on a door. Looks really good. I was personally able to hop on in and enjoy the time with the children and the families. Afterwards, I hopped on over to the school for its Easter event. I'd like to also wish those that are celebrating it a wonderful, blessed Passover, and to those that celebrate it this upcoming Sunday, a blessed Easter. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilman Tansky.
Thank you. Good evening. I just have basically one thing. Knight Commons. I've gotten umpteen amount of calls about the vandalism that's going on over there. They're painting up the rocks, they're painting up the railings. I had a long conversation with Mr. Verba, because he's the one that's got to send the service guys over there and take the stuff off the rocks and paint all the railings again. So I guess I'm going to go to the mayor and Chief Melky. I know we can't sit there and babysit a park on the corner, I get that. Is there any way we can look in, and I don't know if this is going to work, because cameras sometimes work and sometimes they don't, depends how they're angled. It depends if the suspects are wearing masks so we can't see them, but there might be something we look at to put cameras in that park, because we are spending service hours to have service guys go over there and repaint all them sprayed up railings and rocks. And the rocks is harder to get off because he's going to have to use some kind of acid to get off those rocks. And I guess it was spray painted once and then done again. So I don't know if we can do something with that, look at it.
We already are. The ticket's already been put in with Simve. We're going to put the same cameras up there that we put at Markwart.
Over there. Chief, is maybe we can use a little bit more emphasis when we round that corner over there.
Park's checked twice a day.
Is it?
It was checked Sunday night at 9:30 at night before it was found Monday morning. So.
And residents, if you see something, say something. Anybody in that park that you see that's not right, with a spray can in their hand or whatever, say something. Call the police, because that's the way we're going to get them. We're not going to get them any other way, because the residents are in those parks constantly. The police are not. Neither is the mayor or myself. So, but I am getting emails and I am getting calls about that park. So I'd appreciate it. Keep your eyes open and let us know.
You'll be recognized very briefly
Yes.
about that too. Vandalism is terrible no matter where it's at, but that park is designated to Corporal Knight, who gave his life in the service of our country. So when I hear about stuff like that happens, it infuriates me. So if the person that's doing this is watching this, knock it off. You will be caught at some point, and you will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. This is inexcusable, especially as we're approaching Memorial Day. So the cameras will be going up. You will be found. And so I would encourage, as Mr. Tansky mentioned, residents, if you see someone there that's messing around with stuff, please call the police. We're not going to put up with this kind of nonsense anywhere, especially not in a place that's designated as a memorial to someone who gave their life in service to this country. So, Mr. Tansky, thank you for bringing it to our attention. I appreciate it. And Simve will be on it. That's the people that handle our IT very quickly.
And on a better note, I wish all the Brooklyn residents and their families have a very happy Easter. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilwoman Grodick.
Thank you. First, I'd like to just take a moment to thank Chief Milky. A few weeks ago, the Brooklyn schools celebrated Right to Read Week, and we had many guest readers who are in this room right now. But I did have the opportunity to have Chief Milky visit my classroom, and the kids got a big kick out of having the police chief and a few others of his employees come in and check in with the chief. It is such a wonderful, I've said this before and I'll keep saying it, it is such a wonderful connection that the city and the schools are enjoying right now, and I hope it continues forever. If you knew how happy the teachers were to have so many people from our community in our halls that day, in our classrooms that day, I get the opportunity to say it here, but I'm only echoing what my colleagues are saying in their classrooms. It's just so nice to see so many community members in our building. So thank you personally, Chief Milkey, but thank you to everyone. Many people that are up here and in this room were part of our Right to Read Week. Thank you for that. I'd like to just take a few moments to talk about the resolution that I brought up regarding State Issue 2. I will admit I didn't know very much about State Issue 2. I didn't even want to take the time to learn too much about it because I'm like, okay, it's a renewal thing. It's something that has a long history. So my vote was going to be a yes. But then as I began to hear more about it and its importance to our local communities, I thought it was important for us as a city council to just say we support it and we hope the residents in Brooklyn will vote yes on State Issue 2. It is called the State Capital Improvement Program, and I thank Director Butler for putting together the resolution and actually doing a whole bunch more of the history about State Issue 2. So if you're like me and didn't know very much about the history, take a look at the resolution. It has a lot of the history in it. As I've already mentioned, it's something that has been something that Ohio has done since 1987. So it does seem like it has a lot of bipartisan support. But it is a May 6th primary election, and there's not a whole lot of things on the ballot in Brooklyn. There's our school renewal levy and State Issue 2. So it's not something that not everybody may feel a burning need to go out and vote. But both of those issues are important to our community, so I encourage everyone to go out and vote on May 6th or earlier. Early voting has already started. And lastly, I would just like to take a moment. I was going to say something about how important our state budget was and the cuts that we're seeing, especially in regards to our libraries in Ohio, but especially in Cuyahoga County. It seems like it's not as dire as it was a few weeks ago. There were some changes in the budget plan that came out of the House, but that also made me realize as I was reading, our state representatives heard from tens of thousands of people across Ohio, and it made a difference in the funding for the public libraries. And it just made me realize that, here in Brooklyn, we are being served by two newer people in their positions. One is Representative Chris Glassburn. He is a freshman in Columbus, and he represents us in Brooklyn. And also, not so new, but new to us in Brooklyn, is Senator Tom Patton. Both of them are accessible to us. It's easy to email both of them. One is through ohiosenate.gov. The other is ohiohouse.gov. If you go on there, you'll also be able to find their phone numbers. But especially during the next 6 weeks or so, when we're seeing a lot about the state budget, take a moment, and if you see something that's really alarming to you, drop our representatives and our senator an email or a phone call. We send them to Columbus, and they need to represent Brooklyn and Cuyahoga County the way we see fit. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilman Coyle.
Thank you, Council President. I have no report this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Selchertz.
Thank you. Good evening. City of Brooklyn has an active affiliate of the Keep America Beautiful, known as Keep Brooklyn Beautiful, KBB. One of KBB's primary goals is to improve the environment throughout the city by conducting community cleanups in target areas with high amounts of litter and other debris. The volunteer organization has cleanup events scheduled throughout the spring, summer, and fall. KBB often partners with businesses that are interested in enhancing the environment in Brooklyn through public art, cleanups, tree planting, landscaping improvements, and other community activities and events. At this moment, there are a few cleanups being organized with the Brooklyn City Schools. There will be others open to the community later during the year. Thank you to Mike Minute and Keep Ohio Beautiful for keeping KBB supplied with pickers, gloves, bags, safety vests, and this year even 5-gallon buckets. This past Thursday, I picked up our yearly allotment from the distribution point at Kirtland Service Department. To learn more about KBB, or how your company can get involved, please contact me at acelcherts@brooklynohio.gov. Now on to fun stuff, food. Next Wednesday, April 16th, from 5 to 9 p.m., the Brooklyn Middle School and High School Athletic Boosters are holding a fundraiser at the Chipotle at 10325 Cascade Crossing, and that's by Tiedemann. With the school levy, it's a renewal. Situations for residents change as their finances from year to year. This levy is a renewal with no new additional taxes. Real property evaluations have increased. Your own personal finances may have changed where monetary priorities have changed from a few years ago. If you can't afford to vote to renew the levy, please do so. And with that, everyone, please have a safe and happy Easter, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilman Mosley?
Thank you. Good evening, fellow Brooklyn residents. I know the firefighters were already congratulated, but I want to personally congratulate them on their promotions and full-time hiring. I spent some time at the firehouse last year, and those guys are awesome to be around. I'm happy to see them succeed and grow their careers here in Brooklyn. I also want to remind people that used to vote at the high school, since voting's been brought up a few times, that it is going to be closed, that station is going to be closed. And the people who were in Ward B, you will now vote at the Senior Center, and Wards D and G will be at MLK Church on Ridge Road. Just a reminder, since the construction's happening, that your voting location has changed. The city and schools are doing a joint State of the City and State of the Schools this Wednesday at 10 a.m. There's a ton good that's going on in our little city. I took some time off of work to come, and I hope to see a lot of you there as well. I believe that's going to be televised if you cannot make it. Also, the friendly reminder that the Home Exterior Grant Program is still going on. You have until May 9th to apply for that, up to $7,500 per home. Easter is also this weekend, and as everyone else said, I want to wish everyone a happy and blessed Easter that celebrates. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. This is such a great day for our fire department, as evidenced by all the good turnout of all the co-workers. Congratulations to Captain Williams, Lieutenant Cease, and new firefighter Rakuten. I wish you all the best in your new positions. And I'm also very pleased that we were able to add the level of captain in the command structure, which provides more opportunities for firefighters to advance in their careers. And I understand from the chief that this is working out very well. Issue 19 has been mentioned, but I'm going to mention it anyway. It's very important that this renewal pass, and I don't think it's been mentioned exactly yet this evening, but we've shared in the past that if it doesn't pass, the residents are not going to get a reduction in the property taxes because we would fall below the minimum of the 20 mil floor. This was initially passed in 2013. It was renewed in 2018. So please support issue 19 for the schools. Early voting and vote by mail has already begun. There was quite a bit of publicity in the last week and a half relating to the proposed state budget and its effect on libraries. I do want to make it clear that I'm not speaking on behalf of the library. I'm speaking as a local representative who understands how important the library is and how important the services are that the library provides to our residents. In fact, just today, we had a mobile pantry over here across the street for people who are in need of food. Historically, the Public Library Fund, which is currently at 1.7% of the state's gross revenue, this is very similar to the local government fund, which is the money that comes back to the cities. The governor proposed raising it from the 1.7% to 1.75%, and at different points in our history, it's actually been as high as 2.2%. So what caused the furor, as Councilwoman Grodick mentioned, the State House proposed eliminating the fund as it exists and replacing it with a line item in the budget. Now, this is seen as not being as stable because it eliminates the Public Library Fund, and line items can be vetoed and also changed or even eliminated. So the more pressing issue, though, for communities in Northeast Ohio was the fact that there was an additional change proposed that would have changed the actual formula on how this money is distributed to libraries. This would have resulted in pretty large decreases to the libraries in Northeast Ohio. For Cuyahoga County Public Library alone, they would have lost about $7 million effective this July. Library customers were not happy about this, and they mobilized and let their state reps know. Some of the representatives shared that this was the largest number of constituent contacts that they've had for a single issue. They did end up increasing the amount that they're budgeting by a modest amount, but more importantly, they backed off on the changes in the distribution formula. The budget is now in the hands of the state Senate, and they will, consider it, and in many cases, they will propose their changes, and then there's a conference committee before it goes back to the governor. So for now, there's no need to contact your representatives, but we'll see how the Senate deals with the proposal from the House versus the proposal that the governor initially made. So stay tuned. While I was in the park over the weekend, getting out our pavers, for me, it was like a trip down memory lane, seeing all the family names of the pavers. Of course, there were pavers for Mayor Coyne and members of his family, all the various members of the Fry family. And literally, as I was looking at all these names, the Merce and Babarsiks, the Cooks, the Westers, our former Attorney General and Auditor of State, Jim Petro, who grew up here in Brooklyn, and his wife Nancy, the Stockmans, the Lurkeys, Mrs. Swan, the Gantoses, and the Girardis. I mentioned to Mr. Bredenbeck that I saw his family pavers over there and reminded him about making sure he gets them. The Kopchaks, the Loudies, Pete Loudy was our service director, former Councilwoman Rita Brown, and George and Pat Zane. I know that there were others whose pavers have already been removed. But while trying to remove our pavers, it was nice just to reminisce as I saw the names of so many wonderful residents from the past who are part of our history and whose presence here really made a difference in our community. So just a reminder, people have till April 20th to go and remove their pavers. I did talk to Jack because there were some residents who had a lot of questions about it and were having some difficulty, and I know that it was in the original communication from him. The rec center staff are there to help between 8 and 4. So if you need a little help and, or you're elderly and maybe not as able-bodied as you once were, don't hesitate to contact the rec staff. Jack shared that we've already been contacted by a number of people, and they're more than happy to assist. Finally, I'd like to wish everyone a happy and blessed Easter. And I'll turn it over to the mayor for the mayor's report.
Thank you, Mrs. Pucci. Well, today I received official notice from Miss Mary Jo that she will be retiring as the Brooklyn Clerk of Council at the end of June. So Mary Jo has been employed by the city of Brooklyn for nearly 50 years and has served with honor and distinction. She's a valuable asset to City Hall and to City Council. She'll be greatly missed. She's still with us now for a few more months, but I received official notice today, so I wanted to make that mention to her. Mary Jo was one of the first faces that talked to me when I walked into City Hall for the first time back in 2011, and she is an outstanding person. She's an outstanding employee. She will be greatly missed. No one will replace you in City Hall. We will have someone that will fill your position, but you will be greatly missed, and we'll be doing some things to honor you as we move forward. But I wanted to say congratulations on your much-deserved retirement here in a couple of months. To give some updates on what's going on around the city, as Mrs. Pucci just mentioned, the Veterans Memorial Park upgrade is underway. The construction company will be mobilizing for their work actually this week, And as was already mentioned, if you were part of the 1996 paver program, you are able to retrieve those pavers through April the 20th. And we will be memorializing all the names that Mrs. Pucci just mentioned, as well as the rest of them there on a permanent sign plaque that will go in the park and for paving the way. So we want to keep them memorialized as we do this much needed upgrade. The 2025 Streets program will get underway on April the 21st. We had our pre-construction meeting last week. The 2 roads that will be done are Idlewood South and Springcrest North, so that work will get started here in about a week. At both the western and eastern entrances to our city on Memphis Avenue, we will be doing some beautification projects there. That work will begin here in the next couple of weeks as well. And we will also be painting the Norfolk Southern Bridge. And I spoke with the mayor of Lindale a couple of weeks ago and request their assistance in paying for that. And their council agreed to pitch in towards that project since part of the bridge does lie in the city of Lindale. So I appreciate Mayor McLaughlin and their council approving monies to go towards that project. We'll be doing that project in the month of July or August. The dog park pre-construction meeting was held last week. They're slated to begin there the first week of May, and that will go through most of the summer with an anticipation completion sometime this fall. I did mention this at the last council meeting, but just as a reminder to residents that the I-480 off-ramps to Ridge Road will be completely reconstructed this year. The eastbound ramp will be closed from June 7th to August 5th. And then they will open that back up and close the westbound ramp from August 6th through October 2nd. That's ODOT's preliminary timeline. And of course, detours will be posted. We've talked quite a bit in the last couple of years about traffic calming and implementing traffic calming measures throughout the city. We will be reinstalling speed bumps on Road-Own Alley at the end of April. Those were placed there many years ago. They were removed and now they'll be placed back for the summer months. The city will also be implementing traffic calming measures on all the streets east of Ridge Road this summer, as well as implementing traffic calming measures on both Southwood and Idlewood as part of the local streets project this summer. Our engineer, Mr. Henry, is completing those, and then once we have them, we'll send them out to council so you can see exactly what was going in there. The city will once again be partnering with the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission to update and refresh our master plan. We've spoken a lot about it over the last several years. After meeting with our Economic Development Director as well as the Planning Commission, it was highly recommended that we update the current plan that was initiated back in 2020. Per the commission, Brooklyn has moved tremendously quickly in implementing the goals and the actions that were laid out in that 2020 document. And to maintain that momentum, it was recommended that we update the plan. So we are moving forward with that. So the balance of 2025 and probably going a little bit into 2026, we'll be partnering with the Planning Commission to update that plan. A couple of other items. We did receive $100,000 this week from the EPA for an EPA grant that was council was informed of last year, and this was to update one of our one-armed garbage trucks, and we received that truck on St. Patrick's Day on March the 17th. Additionally, we also received a little under $280,000 from a company called Inogen. Back in 2017, council approved a job retention grant with that company. They were located over in the Medical Mutual Plaza, and they violated the terms of their agreement. And as a result of that, those funds were owed back to the city. We met with them. They were very gracious, and they did pay us back those funds last week. Mrs. Grodick mentioned Right to Read week, Literacy Week at the schools. I had the privilege of speaking or reading to the 5th grade class, Mrs. Sullivan's class, although she was out that day, and then also Mrs. Bear's 1st grade class. And it is so much fun. The questions that the kids ask actually usually end up being comments, but they're hilarious. And I had a great time reading to the kids, and I very much enjoyed it. Mr. Mosley mentioned the precincts changes, and so I wanted to show residents this. So if Mary Jo, if you could switch over to that. And this is the precinct map for the city of Brooklyn. If you're in this room, it's kind of hard to see, but if you're watching on YouTube, you can see this. The school is beginning their renovations starting in May. They're going to start with the gymnasium, and as a result of that, we're not going to be able to hold our voting there where we normally do. So if you are part of Precinct B as in boy, it's right there smack dab in the middle of the city, your voting location for just this election will be at the Brooklyn Senior Community Center, which is right across the street from City Hall. And then if you are part of Precincts D and G, D there is to the west of the city, G on the southeastern side of the city, or you would normally vote at the high school, you will be voting for this time only at the Dr. Martin Luther Evangelical Lutheran Church on Ridge Road. Also, I've already spoken with Dr. Caleres. We will have this map as well as this information posted to the doors of the school gymnasium. So if you do show up there, the doors will be locked. You won't be able to get in, but this information will be there. And it is just for this one election, and there's really nothing the school could do about it, just the timing of the construction workers. So I know letters went out to all the residents that are affected, but just as a nice reminder to all of you as well. And then lastly, as was already mentioned by Mr. Mosley, the state of the city and schools. Last year, Dr. Claris and I combined our efforts to have one joint meeting, one joint speech, I should say, and that will take place right here at 10 a.m. On Wednesday, the 16th, which is 2 days from now. It will not be live streamed, but it will be recorded and will be posted on YouTube shortly thereafter. And to those who celebrate Easter, I want to wish you a very blessed Holy Week and a joyous Resurrection Sunday this coming Sunday. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll move on to legislation under new business. We have Resolution 2025-8, which is on first reading this evening, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement for the same and purchase of vacant City of Brooklyn property on Brookway Lane, permanent parcel number 431-21-035, for good and valuable consideration. Next is Resolution 2025-9, which is up for first reading with a request to suspend the rules because of the timing for the upcoming election. A resolution in support of State Issue 2, the renewal of the State Capital Improvement Program on the May 6, 2025 statewide ballot. Any comments or questions?
Introduced by all to suspend the rules. Second.
To suspend the rules, Aaron Borowski,
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Sue Grodick.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Stephen Coyle.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Matt Mosley.
Yes.
To adopt, Aaron Borowski,
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Sue Grodick.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Stephen Coyle.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Matt Mosley.
Yes.
Okay, that concludes our legislation. At this time, we'll have the second public session. If anyone in the audience has anything to say for the good and welfare of the city of Brooklyn, please step forward, state your name and address for the record, and you will be recognized. Please remember to keep your comments to 5 minutes or less.
Good evening, Kelly Crawl, 10523 Manoa Avenue. I am here to speak again on school issues and to debunk some misinformation being sent to families by a city employee. The open enrollment application period ends tomorrow. To date, we have received 91 applications, of which 64 students have been accepted and 18 are awaiting review. To be honest, we were anticipating a possible 75 applicants. These numbers just show that families are excited for the opportunity to send their kids to Brooklyn to take advantage of the educational programs we offer. I am completely supportive of parental choice, but with 200 students enrolling outside the district, it does get frustrating that the funding model sends our tax dollars to those districts. Accepting these open enrolled students, we will receive approximately $1,900 per student. And to clarify some inaccurate statements being made, there is no negative net impact per student. We are not increasing expenses, therefore the per student cost does not increase, it actually decreases. Cost per student is not a literal amount we pay to educate each student, it's budgetary. If you take 1 year of expenses divided by enrollment, there is a per student cost. For example, if 1 year of expenses is $1 million and enrollment is 1,000 students, then the math is 1 million divided by 1,000. If we bring in 100 more students, then the math is $1 million divided by 1,100 students. The cost per pupil goes down, but it is not a literal cost per pupil. Another inaccurate statement I like to clarify, and I cannot stress this enough, open enrollment is not a recruiting tool. We cannot stop parents and students from telling their friends about open enrollment, but we are not actively asking applicants their athletic status. As I stated at a recent board meeting, I could care less about wins outside the classroom if we are not winning inside the classroom. That is our priority, educating children. It's starting to become quite infuriating that we have to continuously reiterate facts because of one resident trying to discredit the Board of Education through dishonest claims. Dr. Caleres is always willing to meet with parents or community members that have questions regarding open enrollment and our upcoming levy. Speaking of which, the upcoming levy is a no new tax renewal levy. We simply continue to collect the original voted on amount. The state of Ohio has a 20 mil floor in place, and due to home values rising, the millage has gone down. And if this levy doesn't pass, we will fall below the 20 mil floor. There will be no impact to residents as they will not see a decrease in taxes, but the commercial property tax will cease and the district will lose $750,000 per year. Specific questions can be directed to Mr. Shearhart in the treasurer's office. And again, he and Dr. Claris are your best sources to obtain accurate and truthful information. We will also be having a special board meeting on April 22nd to engage the community regarding the renewal levy and answer any lingering questions. I also encourage everyone to attend or watch at a later date the State of the City, State of the Schools this Wednesday. I appreciate the continued collaboration between Mayor Van Kirk and Superintendent Caleres, and I hope that you will continue to support Brooklyn City Schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else want to be recognized?
Our property is 10840 Brook Park Road. My name is Misty Winkler.
I am Pete Winkler.
We have many questions that we cannot get answered. We have a letter that was sent to us about our property needing sidewalks and other things, which it said it would have a diagram. We never received a diagram. We received a letter saying that the city wants a $5,000 cash deposit per property until the work has been finished. I can't get answers on what wasn't finished. I have a permit showing that we pulled for surfacing and resurfacing of our parking lot, street apron, curb cuts, and sidewalks, which we did everything.
In 2022.
Yes. So we had it inspected. We had green stickers by Ted Hurst. He was at our property multiple times inspecting, and again, dumbfounded. We can't get answers. So that's my business, wanting to know how to do that.
Have you reached out to our building commissioner?
I have. Well, I've tried. I've left messages.
There was an engineer that we were trying to contact last week.
Mr. Henry?
Last week.
And I also called the building department, and they argued with me and said I never pulled permits. But I have my permit here.
We have it on us right now. We can show it to you.
Yeah. I have the before pictures of the property. We have invested, oh my gosh, 2 years of our life upgrading. It is the building next to Gordon Foods. It used to look like a junkyard. So I don't know what more
Okay, you said.
they're requesting.
Mr. Butler, did you want to be recognized?
Sure. I think the work that has been performed by this property owner to renovate their building is not at issue with respect to the 2025 streetscape project that the letter pertains to, letter from the city. In fact, it's been multiple letters from the city, stretching back to last year, that talk about the need to conform to plans that have been put together by the city engineer for the improvement of the public right-of-way. That's what we call the street property. That's everything from the sidewalk over to the middle of the street. That's the street property in Brooklyn on Brook Park. So from the sidewalk to the curb, that's where the project is occurring. The city is intending to perform the work to beautify that stretch of Brook Park Road. And this has all been, of course, with council's approval, various legislation over the past year. And that is chiefly to repair the aprons, the sidewalks, and plant grass between the sidewalks and the curb. Those plans have been shared with you. Opportunity for property owners to appear at a public forum occurred last year. The property owners were permitted to object and show up to discuss those objections at this public forum. I'm not sure if you were there. I don't believe so.
We were not.
We weren't notified.
We were not notified. I have
Okay.
nothing.
We've got evidence that every property owner was notified in our file. I'm glad to produce that for you. I don't mean to, I'm not going to quibble with you here, but in any event, at that meeting, it was determined that property owners who wanted to take on the project within their, the limits of their property, and pay for that perhaps less expensively than what it would cost if the city undertook the work and assessed you the cost, could do so, and would have to do so by April 30 of this year. Another letter went out at the conclusion of that meeting that explained that. The letter you might be talking about is the one that reminded folks that this has to happen by April 30th, or else the city is going to undertake the repair work itself. And so I think maybe what you are concerned about is that you've done work on your property. I don't know if that's within the public right-of-way, if that was permitted work, but you've done work on your property, you invested in your property, all of which I'm sure is very much appreciated. But within the public right-of-way, the street property that I mentioned, that work still has to happen. And some property owners are undertaking that on their own, others are not. Where the others are not, the city will come in, do the work, and assess the property owners the cost for that work. Nearly all the cost for that work, some of which is going to be borne by the city. So I'm glad to have another conversation with you. I think the city engineer has been involved in these conversations, perhaps the building commissioner. The $5,000 deposit, by the way, is what we would charge anyone to ensure that the street property is not damaged by the work. It's a bond that can go into a segregated account and gets refunded to the property owner once the work is completed. It's not something that the city eats. So,
So my quick question then, can you tell me what, being that our sidewalks are brand new and our tree lawn, we did take out the grass and stone because I was almost hit by 3 cars cutting the grass. So we did a really beautiful stone landscape. So what is it that you're asking us to change? I guess that's the answer I need.
So the plans have been shared with you. I'd be glad to revisit those or have you talk with the city engineer about those plans. Generally speaking, the city engineer is responsible for the work that happens within the public right-of-way, the street property. The building commissioner is responsible for taking your permit applications when you hire a contractor to do that work. So the building commissioner is really a facilitator, much less of a person who's responsible for overseeing the work. The city engineer is responsible for overseeing the work. So I'm going to put you in touch with the city engineer. His name is Mike Henry. You can go over the plans with him. The grass is going to have to go back in because that is going to be uniform down Brook Park Road. That's exactly what we're looking for. I don't know if you're going to have to redo the sidewalks or not. It's possible you won't. And there have been some property owners who have identified repairs that they've made already to sidewalks and aprons, and the city has agreed, the city engineer has agreed that that work does not have to happen again. So that could reduce your cost considerably, or reduce the scope of the project on your property.
And that's all we want is answers, so we know.
All right, we'll make sure then you're in touch with Mike Henry, the city engineer. I have your contact information in my emails, so I'll make sure to remind him.
Thank you.
I don't know if you can talk to him
We
tomorrow.
appreciate it.
We'll put him in touch with you tomorrow. Sure.
Okay.
So, Mr. Butler, you'll let Mr. Henry know that they're trying to get in touch with him?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
I don't know if I have your names, folks, but you can see me after the meeting, which is about to end shortly.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Does anyone else in the audience have anything to say for the good and welfare of the city of Brooklyn?
Anthony Pagano, 11240 Brook Park Road, Brooklyn, Ohio, 44130. Hello, everybody. Just a little nervous. First time getting to do this with you guys. I would also like to get in touch with Mr. Henry. And then, side note, I just would like to also say, over the past couple years, we have been putting a lot back into the property since the split when my grandparents passed away. I'm our manager over at the store. Every year we're doing a little more and more over there to beautify the property and start getting it into a place that people want to come and visit. over there on Brook Park Road. So I just want to let you guys know that I'm not sitting on my hands or anything. We are going forward and getting stuff done. And I think we can, if you take a look over the past, you could tell that we have done a lot of the things that needs done over there. It's just some projects are more expensive than others, and they require a little more capital, especially with having to put the grass in up front and, you know, make it look pretty good. I mean, I'm Sterner sod, so I can make grass happen, guys. Just pretty much, I appreciate you guys taking the time. If it's all right, I would really like to get in touch with Mr. Mike Henry and keep moving forward and keep making it a place that people want to come and visit. And I appreciate you guys as well.
Thank you. And if you could make sure Mr. Butler has your contact information that he can pass along to Mr. Henry.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. And this was fun. I think I'm definitely going to come to another one. I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
Can I be recognized?
Does anyone else have anything to say for the good and welfare of the city of Brooklyn?
I do as usual. Hi, Victor Ardito, 7439 Outlook Avenue, and I support Sterner sod. Real knowledgeable people. Go up there, you got a problem, Anthony will gladly help you. Back to the medium. I've heard through the grapevine, maybe it was told before I got here, that they're putting bricks in there now. Am I correct?
Are you talking about over by,
The medium where all the stones are flying out.
oh, yes.
We're putting bricks there?
We're going to have, or is it stamped concrete? Okay. We're still planning.
Kevin Tansky and I suggested that from the beginning. Now we're into the third thing. Do we have is there a money tree that you guys are shaking? You know, I'm wondering, same thing, you made those people you took all the bricks out of there at the shopping center down there. It was beautiful. You threw them out and you got mud down there. And that grass is coming in great. There's a big tire track going through the one by Wally's. That looks great. A while ago, I went to the rec center to sign up for the old people stuff, whatever, and they gave me a card that you could get stamped, which was great. And then he gave me an 8 by 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper with a card, a front and a back on it. I go, what's this? Well, you need this to get in. You take it home, cut it out, maybe laminate it. I go, with the money we spend on different things, you can't give a person a laminated card. They got to go cut it out at home and glue it together. You got me, but you know me with the complaints. Do we have the new traffic lights on by the medium on Memphis here that are supposed to control traffic better, out of curiosity? Those go in yet?
I think if you can finish yours and then, because we don't want
No
to take up,
problem,
we
yeah.
don't want to take up your 5 minutes.
And I think that couple was just here. I mean, I haven't seen their building, but if they did a nice yard with nice stones, what's the problem? And you guys already before, when I was complaining about these mediums, you know, Mike Henry was trying to explain everything, how good it's going to work, and it hasn't. I was on a walk around the block by my house yesterday, talking to one of the neighbors. Her dad's a Cleveland fireman. He goes, I don't see how that's going to work properly for a fire truck getting by. I said that myself, and then you told me, well, the edges are rounded so we can drive over it. Well, at least it'll be better now with the stamped concrete or whatever else we put in. And I hope to God this is the last investment we do on those outside of tearing them out and filling them in. Thank you.
Does anyone else have anything to say for the good and welfare of the city of Brooklyn? Mr. or Councilman Tansky, you wanted to be recognized?
Yes. Anthony, thanks for showing up. Your dad did contact me. I called him back a few times, but I couldn't get a hold of him. So let him know that Mike Henry, when I talked to him last, he was going to set up a meeting between the mayor and Mike Henry and yourself to go over what has to be done. Second thing is and I don't want to try to change or defy the plans on Brook Park, but the grass setting over in that area is going to end up being weeds. I can tell you that already. You have semis that go down Brook Park Road are going to kick those rocks up right into that grass. grass in that area is really, really tough. My opinion, I think it either should be pavers, concrete, or stone, something that will look decent. Mayor, and I'm not trying to go against any of your plans or what we already agreed, but that area is high-traffic area, especially Sterner side. They got somebody coming in and out of there, semis coming in and out of there. Other companies have stuff coming in and out of there. And the area where they're talking about putting grass, I don't know how long that's gonna last before it gets rutted or ends up a weeded mess. And I hate to be against anything, but it is what it is in that area because of the high-traffic zone. So maybe we could take a look at that. Maybe, I didn't get to talk to Mike Henry extensive on that, just over Sterner Sod's complaints that they had and statements that they had. And hopefully you yourself, the mayor, and Anthony and his father, and naturally Mike Henry can get together and maybe come up with a solution. But as far as the grass, maybe we can, I don't know, relook at that and see what we can, it's just, to my opinion, it's just not a good idea over there. It really isn't.
Can I show you this?
We've seen it.
Yeah. I mean,
That's your tree line? Yes.
yeah.
We have it
There
on.
was multiple ones that were just done. Mine was done about 3 years ago, and it seems like everyone else took suit. But like McDonald's has stamped concrete, which I think is wonderful. And no maintenance, and it looks great.
Okay. And Mr. Butler will put you in contact with Mr. Henry. Were you finished, Mr.
Yeah.
Kaczynski?
Good.
Just to answer the question about the traffic light, the one traffic signal for the left turn into the city hall has been installed, is functioning. There's still, the other one going to the library is still delayed. I don't know what the issue is with it, but it hasn't come in yet, so we're working on that. As far as the plans for Brook Park Road, council's been aware of these plans for a year now. We've had countless discussions. We've had numerous meetings about this. I understand we heard the arguments about the grass down there. There are plenty of companies over in that area that do have it and successfully do it. So, I mean, I know it's a difference of opinion, but we're looking for consistency and to make the area look nice. Some of the parts over there look really bad, and I'm not talking about your space, but that part of our town has been neglected in property maintenance for a long time. And one of the biggest things that came out of the discussions we have with this master plan was we need to beautify the properties and to maintain them. And I'm not disparaging any person in this room or anyone over there, but if you take a drive over there, I've been over there numerous times, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And the city was prepared with council's full support to move ahead with the plan. We had the meeting that Mr. Butler alluded to a moment ago, last year. There were several property owners that came in and said, you know, if we do this work ourselves, we'll be able to do it for cheaper. I didn't argue that fact, 100% accurate. And so we gave every single one of them, they were all notified, we sent the plans. We gave them till April 30th to have the work completed. And so this is not something that's new, we're just springing this on people. We have been talking about this for a long time. And I'm not saying that you know, we can go back and forth on whether we should have rocks or not have rocks or have grass. The decision was made to do it. This was the recommendation of the engineer. If you go over there, there are lots of places, like I said, that have it, in the middle of it, and the other sides of it, on the other side, in the Parma side. And so we're just trying to look for consistency over there and to beautify the area. And it's just as simple as that.
Can I be recognized real quick? Yes. You know, I understand, Mayor, but sometimes when you listen, and I believe in change, and something ain't gonna happen and we're gonna force it through, and something's not gonna be right. I'm hearing from the companies that are there and the amount of traffic that they're telling me that's coming through there, and I know how heavy Brook Park is. And I know there were plans, but sometimes change and maybe change certain things that we think could be an issue down the road, just like the pavers on Ridge, just like the stuff grass in some areas where there were pushback on that. So, and now being pushed back on this, maybe they have good ideas on way we could, and I know you want it all the way to same down Brook Park Road, but is that grass gonna look the same 3 years from now, or is it gonna be a weeded mess? Seriously, and that's what we have to look at. And when you have rock salt being thrown on that grass and other chemicals being thrown at grass in high traffic area, it might not be the correct thing to do. And it might look at a change possibly at the whole outlook of the whole situation. That's the only reason, take a second look at it. Maybe we can't do it, maybe it has to stay that way. But if we can take a second look at it and just see what the companies have to say and meet with them. And that's why I told Anthony there to meet with you and Mike Henry and to talk.
I have no problem meeting with anybody at any time, but as Mr. Butler mentioned, we had a public forum, we had the opportunity, we've had since that meeting took place, I believe in October of last year. There has been now since then 2 letters that have come out. I have no problem meeting with someone, but now it's April 14th, and we're 16 days away from that deadline, and now this stuff is coming up. So, you know, I didn't design this, I'm not an engineer, but this was the recommendation of the city engineer, who in my opinion is absolutely outstanding. And this is the most inexpensive way of doing it. As far as the grass, it's much less expensive than putting in rocks or pavers or something like that. And it can be maintained. Yes, it can get a weeded mess if it's not maintained, but it absolutely can be. Every resident in the city of Brooklyn does it. The businesses up on Brook Park Road that have it, Ryder Truck is a good example. They have a very large frontage on Brook Park Road. They do a good job maintaining it, as well as do the businesses in the Cleveland side and some on the Parma side. And so this was the plan that was laid out. The time to relook at the plan, in my opinion, is not now. We've already made this decision. This has been in motion now for a year. And, you know, certainly we can look at it again, but if we're going to redo things, we have to pay Mike, the engineer, to redo the entire project. And I don't think that's a good idea, just my personal opinion. I'm happy to talk with anybody anytime. No one has called and asked to meet with me.
Well, I know, like I said, I got in touch with Anthony's father a few times, but I haven't been able to connect with him, but I hope that, that meeting does come.
One additional thing, Mr. Tansky, there has been properties, the city has been promised by properties over there for a long time that stuff was going to get done, and it has not happened. So the last thing in the world that the city wants to do is to assess to get the right-of-way done. I don't want to do that. I would much rather have the business owners do it. And, but there's a lot of them over there that have just simply not done anything over there. This folks that spoke excluded, they have. But there's been a lot that haven't. And so it's our responsibility then to do what we're doing. And so that's why the city is taking this step to do it.
Real quick question. Does every city have the same kind of business? So if you have like Sterner Sod, he's running semis in there. All right? He's unloading and loading trucks in that front area. So I don't know if you can put the same rules on everybody when now we're figuring out, and I know it's late, should have been done earlier, that every business runs different. They don't all run the same over there. They don't all run semis up through there and unloading cargo or unloading sod or unloading seed, whatever it may be. Every business is run a little different. So that's why I'm trying to get them to get that meeting with you and Mike Henry to discuss that situation in general. So they can get it out in the open, and then again, what the city's asking. That's all I'm asking.
And if I could just add one thing, yes, Mr. Henry did come up with the plan. However, that's not where it was initiated. It was initiated because when we were going through the master plan process, that area of the city was identified as not all of you, but in some areas looking very blighted. And the city has spent a lot of, the city has spent a lot of our own money, which is the residents' money, the tax money that we get from residents, on investing in enhancing the look of the city, beautification projects. So that is actually where it was initiated, because that area was identified in some cases of looking blighted. And of course, we are aware that there are certain properties that we have tried to work with them over the years and really didn't get much movement. So I'm all in favor of people sitting down and discussing whatever concerns people have, but I don't think we're going to invest in completely redoing plans that have been in the works really for more than a year. And council did vote to assess the property owners because that's typically the way these projects are done. However, when we heard from the businesses, we wanted to give all the businesses an opportunity, if they could do it in a more cost-effective way, that they accomplish that. So Mr. Butler is going to connect you with Mr. Henry, and we can take it from there. Anybody else? Okay, we need a, yes.
Mayor, I have a question. Have some businesses complied? Have they saw the streetscape plan and went and did the work?
No.
Okay.
At this point, there's been, Mr. Henry, or Mr. Greer, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe at this point, there's been one permit pulled. When do we receive those applications? Roughly, just roughly.
And this is really not a back and forth.
No, I know.
So it's going to be more effective, I think, if.
I just, is it okay? I mean, I know it's not really a back and forth, but Mr. Mayor Van Kirk, I just, with your comments, I really want you, if I could project to you, that I have been doing stuff over there. I don't want you to think I've been sitting on my hands. All projects that we've been doing do take a lot of money. The aprons was my biggest expense so far. I paid out PERC out of cash to do that project, the guys that was working on the street, to give me 2 beautiful new aprons. I understand the parking lot does need done over there, but please don't think I'm sitting on my hands.
Sir, I never said anyone was sitting on their hands.
No.
I simply stated that for years, that, as Mrs. Pucci just mentioned, that area has been largely blighted and ignored. And we've tried to work with numerous property owners over there to get movement on it, and unfortunately, it has not happened. And so that is why the city is taking this step. It's not an attack on anybody. No. I didn't say anybody. I'm just saying, if you drive over there and you look at it, as was just mentioned, it looks like a blighted area in large scale. So that's why we had the public meetings. I'm not going to have a back and forth anymore with this. I'll be happy to sit down and talk with you if a meeting is scheduled.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
And I appreciate you guys. Thank you. And I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone on council? Anyone else? Okay, we need a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved. Second.
To adjourn, Aaron Borowski,
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Sue Grodick.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Stephen Coyle.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Matt Mosley.
Yes.